mission on the boat. It's been a little while since I've done anything on the boat. I've been busy doing stuff. Shit gets in the way like that, doesn't it? Today's little mission on the boat. Taking out the lower sections of the walls because it's currently only polystyrene insulation and it is shocking. Like there's air spaces that it's just not working in. So I'm going to take it all out, spray foam it, and then it should be good. It should be fit. 1.5 to 2 inches in behind all of the walls, so it should give a better, longer lasting, cosier finish. So as you can see on these bits here, it's already fallen down. This bit was up in there like that, and those little bits in the floor, on the floor, those little bits on the floor were literally wedged between this piece and that piece, just in that gap, just holding that in. And well, it's not the most efficient way of insulating a boat, is it? Polystyrene. Part of the build process, we are going to be obviously changing the whole entire bottom of the boat, but we're going to be making it slightly different to what it was originally. This here is essentially the build up of what was the floor when I first bought the boat. So we had H section, beams, a batten, and then the floorboards. So we had like an air gap and then the ballast in these gaps, but we're going to be changing to an angle beam. And the reason that we're going for angle beam is because it's obviously been chosen to be a thicker amount, so we can go for a shorter height there. The ballast will still fit under it once we've attached the steel plate. And where this is H beam, you see the bottom of it there? That bit there, if moisture gets underneath that, then the moisture will sit there, and it'll be like stuck between two surfaces. Whereas this, there'll be a lot less area for any moisture to get to, so it's more like future-proofing it really. And because we've gone for a shorter height but thicker metal, it'll be just as strong, if not stronger. We can pretend that this is wood. This is wood for now, for all intents and purposes. So, as you can see, it's a little bit bendy wood. Let's flip it that way. If this was the thickness of the wood, my new floor height will actually be lower than the support beams of the old floor. So that'll give me this much extra height, which is pretty much all I need. This is a ballast brick. There's probably about a ton and a half of these in here, and they all go at the front end to keep the nose down. And as you can see, if that sits on the floor, there's a hell of a gap between here and here. And originally, there was then a batten and then the floorboard, so there's about 2 inches of air gap. With the new design, however, because we're being smart with it, let me just step back here. This one, pretend this is the steel plate. This is the steel plate. That brick's going to go on there, and then it shall go like that. And they will sit just under there.
once the steel plate's welded up. So although you have a much smaller air gap, it's still enough for it to breathe, still enough for the airflow to go around it, so it doesn't go mouldy should there be any damp in there, and gives me more height for my head. Currently, I'm standing on that plank that you just saw on the new beams, and it gives, and I got my boots on. See, I've got my boots on as well. So, just like in my van, hang on, let me stand more in the middle. Just like in my van, I've got very, very minimal clearance. I've actually got more clearance in here at the moment with this mocked up floor plank than what I do in my van, because in my van, if I've got my boots on, I do have to just duck down slightly. So, if you're wandering around in here with your shoes on, providing that you're about 6'1", 6'2", you shouldn't bang your head. Even though I'm doing it as a project for myself, as a house for myself, place to live for myself, I am also thinking about the resale value as well. So I'm not going to be stuck with something that's completely custom to myself or something that is uncomfortable for me. I'm going to make it as comfortable and as warm and practical as I possibly can, just so it makes it easier to sell later on if ever I do choose to do so.